John, I apologize if I upset your vacation by calling you. I was just trying to tell you to stop worrying about track, enjoy yourself. But then I realized, wait, he just loves his sport. This is why work isn't sometimes doesn't feel like a job, John. You have the best job in the world and the best boss in the world. That's what I'd like you to admit right now on there. Everyone else,
I have a great job and I have a great boss, two great bosses. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, no, I'm not in there watching like the high school heats of the 4x8 and the Penn relays where I'm on vacation. But if I can watch Erriyon Knighton run 1949 in a 20-second clip on Twitter, yeah, I'm going to watch that because it was freaking insane. I mean, I was kind of blown my mind. Like he crossed the finish line at 200 and he looked so good. I'm like, I kind of forgot it was a 200. I thought it was a 400 just because with like the ease and how far ahead he was of people. I wasn't used to seeing that kind of margin of victory in a 200, let alone against the guy who got fifth in the Olympics last year, Joseph Fanbuller of Florida. Just 1949 in April. Nothing about this performance makes sense except the fact that Knighton might, well, not the fact, but Knighton might be the biggest talent, sprint talent this sport's ever seen. I mean, when you guys see the time, are you like, this is totally insane, this is nuts? Or do you think like, well, he did run 19.8 last year as a 17-year-old. This kind of makes sense. I'm not totally shocked. What was your reaction when you see the result?
well, it's one of those things I didn't even know he was racing. It's just classic, track fan. I saw the results, so I didn't have time. It should be, I'm not that shocked. I mean, this is the guy that you predicted would win the world title. And in this day and age, if you're winning the world title, you're normally going to be running something around 19.5, right? At some point during the season. I guess Andre DeGrasse didn't do that last year, but
Well, he ran 19.62 in the Olympic final into a headwind. So he was, 19.5 shape on a perfect day. I mean, look, I'm not shocked he's running 19.49. Did I think when his career was over, he'd have run that fast or faster? Yes. I just didn't think he would be getting there in April of 2022 before he'd even graduated from high school.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's 18. And maybe with Ingebrigtsen and him, we're going to reevaluate what's possible at a young age. But I didn't expect this for sure. I mean, I guess we can't go there yet, but like poor Noah Lyles, was this probably a year ago? I wanted Noah Lyles never to lose a Diamond League 200. I'm like, he's going to be the greatest 200-meter runner of all time. Now I'm like, Noah Lyles, is he never going to get another gold medal? I mean, he doesn't have an Olympic one, but this guy was a couple years ago the high school phenom, the future of 200-meter sprinting, going to be the face of the Olympics, possibly do the 100, 200 double. And now everyone's talking about another 18-year-old kid from Florida.
Yeah, well, Noah Lyles is from Virginia, now trains in Florida. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of really good guys who were denied gold medals by Usain Bolt as well. This stuff does happen when you're up against an all-time talent. Look, Erriyon Knighton's never even won a medal at a global championship yet, so I'm not going to be crowning anything, but his ceiling is just so much higher than every other sprinter running right now in the 200. We've yet to see what he can do fully in the 100. Maybe that takes a few years. It did for Bolt. But 19.49, I would have to think he's going to get faster. Maybe not this year because, Robert, as you pointed out in the week that was, Michael Norman ran 43.4 in April 2019. That was when he was, 20, 21 years old. He has yet to run faster than that time since. Like, look at what has happened to Michael Norman as an example. Like, you would have thought by now he'd have won the world title, he'd have won the Olympic title, or at least a medal in one of those events, right? And he has neither at the moment. So, Knighton's got great talent. He's still got to get it done these big things, but I am a firm believer in this guy. It was an incredibly impressive 200-meter opener. And I'll put the question to you guys. Is he the favorite for the World Championship 200 right now?
for me, most definitely. Yes. I mean, can someone look at, we've got a poll up on the homepage right now on what other people agreed on. I've already voted. I'm going to vote again because I've got a different IP because I'm at work. Who will be the world 200-meter champion? I'm going to put in Knighton. 58% of Let's Run Nation thinks he will be the champion. Fred Curley. Oh, Noah Lyles, second choice at 15%. Fred Curley, 14%. And the defending Olympic champion, Andre DeGrasse, only at 9%. So basically, it's people think he's 4 times more likely to win than anyone else. And I think you've got to agree with that. I mean, yes, he had a nice tailwind, 1.4, but just the domination of that field. I mean, I guess we had a different angle than we're used to seeing because it was on the other side of the track, but he was just so far ahead. It was absolutely amazing. I mean, he improved by 0.35 in this race. He's only 0.30 away from the world record. So I thought that there was a great thread on Let's Run about this race. And one of the people said, like, what's the one thing Bolt didn't accomplish in his career that he wanted to do, John?
400 meter world record?
No, I think I know.
Bolton knows. What is it?
Yeah, sub 19.
Oh, yeah.
Sub 19. So I'm going to lay in the bandwagon. I think that this guy certainly has the potential. And since if he goes to altitude, I mean, 6,000 feet of altitude is worth about 0.20 in a 200. So Bolt could have already done it. If they had set up a race at altitude, he very well could have done it if he got the conditions right. So if this guy gets down to the world record territory, Adidas needs to set this up, and they need to do it now. So, look, Adidas had a nice event on their campus last week where they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and no one paid any attention to it. Some Adizero time trial for some new shoe they have that stuff was fine during COVID when you're coming out with a new shoe and there's no races. Let's stop wasting the money on this crap and spend that money instead on getting the situation set up for an altitude race made for TV where he becomes the first person under 19 seconds. And look, I made 159.40 asterisk shirts because there was an asterisk, but the average person, all they give a shit is Kipchoge, sub 2 hour marathon. With this guy, Knighton, you can put an A next to it, it'll still be sub 20. So that's something to
sub 19.
Excuse me, sub 19.
Robert, here's what you got to do. You have to start lobbying for Nairobi to host the World Championships in 2025, though they might be going to Tokyo, or 2027. Erriyon Knighton will be 21 years old for the 2025 Worlds. He will be 23 years old for the 2027 Worlds. That is when Bolt was running his fastest times. Have them at altitude. It's not 8,000, but it's about 5,500, 6,000. That's going to help you. That's where you should do it. That's where Usain Bolt was breaking most of his world records, was these championships. And I want to stop making all these Bolt comparisons. I don't like doing it, but this is the one guy who does have that talent level. But that's what you should be waiting for him to do it. Not some manufactured record attempt. Have it do it in a global final. I think it's more fun that way.
That's a good point, John. Very good point. But 2020, what year? 27? I mean, I'm not convinced he'll be. Look at Johan Blake. His career was done by that time. These guys get hurt, and they're not the same necessarily. I mean, we can anticipate that he's going to have this great career and be good at 30 or 40 like Allison Felix, and I guess it's possible. He does look so smooth when he runs, though, doesn't he? I mean, oh, man. So
what I'm excited for, look, we've spent the last 5 minutes pumping up Erriyon Knighton, as we should, because he's just run 19.49 at 18. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. Fourth fastest man ever. The only faster guys in history, Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, Michael Johnson. They were all pretty good at this running thing. But I'm just really, really excited for the sprints in general, culminating with the World Championships in Eugene in July. But look at this 200. We could potentially have Knighton, Lyles, Andre DeGrasse, who, again, 19.62 last year. That's no joke. He always comes to play at the championships. Fred Curley. I think he can go a lot faster than he has. He already beat Michael Norman this year. Maybe Norman's in the 200. He's run 9.86 in the 100. He's always run pretty well in that. We're going to have some great talent in that. The 100 is going to be incredible.
Kenny Bednarek, the Olympic silver medalist, isn't going to be in that?
Kenny Bednarek, he'll be in the mix. I mean, just making the American team is going to be pretty brutal. And then you have Fambola. I mean, the way he closes in races, I don't know if he's quite those. He was 5th in the Olympics. I'm not sure if he's quite on the level of some of the guys we already mentioned, but we always say if he can get his start figured out a little bit, but just him being in the race, sneaking in for a bronze or something, that can be exciting. And then all the talent in the 100 right now, Jacobs, Curley, Coleman, Bromell, who just ran 9.75 with a barely illegal tailwind 2.1 over the weekend. I'm super excited. And this other thing, I'm really pumped about this. It's actually crazy. Fred Curley and Marcel Jacobs, the Olympic gold and silver medalists last year. I don't know if you guys saw this. They're now scheduled to race each other in 100 meters 3 times before the World Championships. They're facing off this weekend on Saturday in Nairobi. Then at the Pre-Classic, they're part of a loaded field there on May 28th. And then Rome, Jacobs' home turf, the Rome Diamond League on June 9th. That's Curley, Bromell, and Jacobs are all in that race as well. It's so strange for me after we had a decade of the very best guys in the 100 all dodging each other, well, the 2 best guys, Gatlin and Bolt, during the regular season, that we're now seeing the Olympic gold and silver medalists 3 times before the World Championships. I like that the big stars are showing off, and it's a big change.